Today we want to talk a little bit about business plans, and specifically your business plan and what you do with the business plan once things have kind of gone sideways, right? So hopefully we all started with a business plan. And the unfortunate thing with business plans, especially a lot of the stuff you're getting online when you get those pre-made ones or you kind of fill in the blanks, is it's a business plan that's very presentable. So you can present that to the bank or to an investor or to somebody else, and they look pretty. But a lot of times they're not necessarily what you need to run your business day to day. I know the longer I've been in business, the shorter my business plans get, right? So, what started out in the first few years as a 10 or 12 page business plan now is usually, if you take out the financial stuff, which is important, but if you take that part of it, my business plans usually end up being about 2 pages nowadays. And the reason for that is they don't need to be a large drawn out thing. I already know who the business is. I already know who owns it and all those kind of things. That doesn't need to be in your business plan. What really needs to be in your business plan is a clear vision and a goal of where you want to be. So wherever you are now, let's say you start here and you need a clear vision of where you want to go, right? Now, when I talk about vision, I'm not talking about, like these vision statements. We all see these big companies that have these grand vision statements, and they've got people, they pay them to get the wording right and all those kind of things. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about being able to clearly tell your coworkers or your customers or your employees where you want to be in X amount of time, and not too far out, right? I saw the funniest thing the other day. I think it was on Shark Tank or something. The guy had a 10-year business plan. Like, holy Moses, if you think back 10 years, like Twitter wasn't even a thing 10 years ago. So how in the world am I going to make a business plan that's going to look 10 years into the future? I kind of have a rough idea what I might want to do in 3 years, but my business plan mostly is about what I want to do this year. The other thing you really got to focus on is where you are right now. And you got to be realistic about where you are right now. And that's sometimes a little tough. And so sometimes it's not a bad thing to ask some people around you, whether it's your wife or whether it's coworkers or whether it's your customers, where they think you really are. If you're just small and starting out, you have some advantages and disadvantages. I know when we were first starting out, one of my big advantages was I could react quickly to customers. It was all, I was kind of a one-man show. So whatever they wanted, I could change gears and I could react really fast. Now that we're a little bigger, the bigger we get, the harder it is to be mobile and to react to customers. And so we've adjusted our business and our business model and our business plan accordingly. So your business plan basically needs to say, okay, this is where I am. This is where I'm going. These are the points along the way that I need to hit. And if I hit those, then I know I'm on the right track. So these points can have to do with money. And when I talk about money, we're talking about, there's lots of different ways I'm not a financial guy, but, you've got cash flow, you've got revenues, however you're going to measure those, or multiple ways you're going to measure those. It might have to do with customers. It might have to do with, I don't know, whatever other things you want to put in there. And then you get those along the path. So what we're talking about is what happens if you draw out this business plan, you're trying to get here, all of a sudden you find yourself off here in the weeds, right? Maybe the market collapsed. Maybe a big job you had went sideways, whatever, right? So you're now in the weeds. So if you started with a business plan and you have a clear vision, it helps, because at least even though you're here, you still know you want to get there. You may have taken a detour, but you know where you're trying to go. So your business plan will help you, but you need to kind of reevaluate or think about your business plan, because now all of a sudden these marks along the path might not match these marks, right? So those marks might not be achievable anymore, but that doesn't mean your end vision isn't achievable. And maybe your end vision was a little bit grandiose, maybe it was a little bit optimistic. So, you might have to stretch out, and I can't go off the end of the board, but maybe you need to stretch out the timeline for your vision or get there. Maybe it's going to take you an extra, 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, 2 years to get to where your vision is. So hopefully that gives you kind of an idea. Obviously, in this short video, there's only so much information I can share with you. We'd love to hear from you. We can fill out the application below for a pre-consulting session. I'm going to try and have as many of those as possible. And one of the reasons I'm doing this is I've been in business for 15 years. Construction's a tough business, and there's no way around that. Through the years, I've had some ups and downs, and I've had some really ugly times, and I've been very fortunate to have people who can help me navigate through those. And this is kind of my way of paying that forward. And a little bit selfishly, I'm using this to try and help build my network so that we can help each other out in the future. And so I never think it's a bad idea to get to know people on a better level or on a deeper level. So please fill out the application below if you're interested. We can go over business plans. We can go over, financing. We can go over any of those kinds of things. I'll be happy to share my experience with you and help you out in any way I can. Thanks.